Hi everyone, we will be learning how to cut a perfect trouser today. See, let me tell you, if you follow this method, you can never have any problem with trousers. Now we are going to start by folding our fabric into two, and the measurement we'll be using to fold our fabric is going to be the thigh measurement. Please kindly make sure to take your measurement accurately for trousers. I once posted a video on how to accurately take trouser measurement, but I can still make another one. That's if you want me to. The thigh measurement I'll be working with here is 26 inches. So for the thigh measurement of your trouser, you are going to divide it by 2 because the thigh is being measured separately. So we are going to divide the thigh measurement, the knee measurement, and the boot, which some people also call the ankle measurement, into 2. For the length of this trouser, I'll be raising my tape up by 1.5 inches. This is because the trouser is going to have a band of 2 inches, and when I use half of an inch to join the band to the trouser, it goes back to 2 inches. I'll take the full length measurement. Please kindly note that for every length we'll be taking for this trouser, we are going to raise our tape up by 1.5 inches because of the band, as I mentioned earlier, because it's going to have a band, and the wideness of our band is going to be 2 inches wide. The next thing I want to do now is to take the crotch depth measurement. Like I mentioned earlier, we will be raising our tape up by 1.5 inches, which I just explained, and I will mark out the crotch depth measurement. Here I'm using 11 inches. I already posted the video on how to accurately measure crotch depth measurement. In fact, how to accurately take a perfect trouser measurement. So you can just go back to the video and watch. The next thing I will do now is to mark out 2 inches folding allowance at the hem of the trouser. So here, this is me taking the crotch depth measurement on the other side again, just to make sure that I have a straight line. And also I'll be taking the knee length measurement. This is just the distance between your waistline and the knee of your trouser. It depends on how you want your trouser, so this will just guide you to make a perfect and a straight trouser. So I'll take the crotch measurement, I will rule it out, and also rule out the knee length measurement. Like I said, it is the distance between your waistline and the knee. Now I'll go back to the crotch area and I'll go in by 3 inches, as you can see me do in this video. I'll take in 3 inches from that area and I'll rule a straight line there. Now I'll go in with my curve ruler and I'll curve out that side of the crotch area, as you can see. So I'll just curve that. Just follow this video. You can actually use your free hand for this. It is not hard to do at all. So I'll just make sure to have this curve here. You know, your crotch area cannot be so straight, so you need that curve. All right, what I'll do next is to divide this trouser into 2. You know, I mentioned earlier that I folded the trouser with the thigh measurement. Now I'm just going to divide that into 2. I had 13 inches here. That is my thigh measurement divided by 2. So I'm going to divide that 13 inches into 2, just so I can get the center of this trouser. And the essence of doing this is to achieve a very straight trouser. This line I'm ruling here is going to serve as a guide while imputing all the measurement on this trouser. Now it's time to start taking our measurements. Remember, I already folded this trouser using the thigh measurement initially. So that means I have 13 inches. The round thigh is 26 inches, and when we divide by 2, it gives us 13 inches. So that means I have 6.5 inches on both sides of the line. For the knee tight measurement, which some people also call the round knee measurement, I'll be using 22 inches for this video. Now remember that we have our trouser on fold, so that makes it 11 inches. So I'll just place that on this line and I'll make sure to have 5.5 inches on both sides to give me the 11 inches. I'm just going to make sure that whatever measurement I'll be taking, that the half of the measurement falls at the center of that line, just so I can have equal measurement on both sides. Lastly, for the boot, which some people also call the ankle, I'll repeat the same process. I'll be using 18 inches for this video, so that makes it 9 inches while on fold. I'll just make sure to have 4.5 inches on both sides. So 4.5 plus 4.5, that is 9. This is just me trying to get the middle of the trouser. Now it's time to connect those points we just marked together. So I'll connect from the thigh to the knee length and down to the boot. That's also the ankle. So I'll do just that for the other side of the trouser. All right, now we'll go to the upper part of the trouser, and for this upper part we'll be dividing our measurement by 4. we'll be dividing our measurement by 4 for the upper part. So I'll take the waist measurement. I'm using 7 here. That is waist 28 inches divided by 4. I have 7 inches, and I'll be adding 1 inch for that. I'll be having a dart on this trouser, so I added 1 inch for that allowance. So for the hip measurement, I'll first determine the hip line. Please don't forget to raise your tape up by 1.5 inches, as I've mentioned several times in this video, to measure the hip line. So I take my hip line measurement, and I'll go ahead to take the actual hip measurement. Don't forget that I said we'll be dividing all the upper measure, which is the hip and the waist, into 4. We divided the trouser, the knee, the thigh and ankle by 2, just because we took the trouser measurement separately. You know, we are going to measure the legs separately, unlike the hip that will be measuring the circumference round. For the waist and the hip, we measure the circumference round, so that is why we divided those ones by 4. And for the thigh, the knee and the ankle, we divided by 2 because we took the measurement separately from both legs. So now I'll go ahead and start cutting out the trouser, because we are done with the front pattern of the trouser. Please, if there is any question you may want to ask me, please kindly drop them in the comments. I'll definitely respond to them. So I'll cut out the front pattern, and this is what it looks like for now. I'll go ahead now to start cutting the back. So for the back of this trouser and every other trouser, you are going to place the fabric on fold like we did for the front bodies, and you place the front bodies on it. But just make sure to have 2 inches extra allowance at the upper part. As you can see in this video, just leave an extra allowance of 2 inches for that back. I'll tell you the reason later as we proceed. So just place it on it this way and trim out the first side. Just shape out the first side following the front bodies that we placed on it. Please listen carefully to this part. On the other side of the trouser, you are going to mark 2 inches, like you can see me do in this video. You're going to mark out 2 inches. This 2 inches is going to serve as our seam allowance. Every seam allowance for trouser goes to the back bodies. We are going to add the trouser seam allowance to the back bodies. If you can remember, when I was cutting the front bodies, I didn't mention seam allowance because I'll be adding everything to the back bodies. You can add it on any side of your trouser depending on how convenient it is for you, but I realized that this is one of the easiest method, and that is why I am showing you guys. After marking the 2 inches, you are going to move the trouser to the point where you mark the 2 inches, just so you can shape the other side of the trouser. Kindly note that you can add your 2 inches from any side of your trouser depending on how convenient you want it. And now for the back bodies, remember I said we'll leave 2 inches for that back bodies there. That is what I want to explain right now. We'll be needing 2 inches on the crotch area, as you can see in this video, of the back bodies. We'll be needing an extra 2 inches there. This is because of the butt allowance. I briefly explained this when I posted how to measure the crotch depth measurement. You can just go to my page to watch that. So I've marked the 2 inches now, and I'll connect. I'm going to slant it back to the waistline of the front bodies, because the waist of both the front and the back bodies has to be equal so that you can easily join together. So just shape out like so. You are going to slant your line from that 2 inches back to the waist so that the waist becomes equal when you are joining. And now it's time to start cutting out the back body. So I'll just go ahead and cut out following the shape I already marked here. So I'll cut out, and that will be the end of the front and the back bodies. Please kindly stay tuned, because I'll also be showing you how to cut a baggy trouser in this tutorial. So this is what the front and the back bodies look like. So that's the end. Don't forget that we'll be having a dart on this trouser. I already added the allowance initially, so don't forget that while sewing. So that will be the end of this tutorial on how to cut a straight trouser. And now I want to quickly show you guys how to make a baggy trouser. Trust me, it is really simple. So let me just put you guys through in this same video. As we all know that a baggy trouser is meant to be very free, it's meant to be very comfortable. So to get the measurement to place on fold, you are going to divide the hip measurement by 4, and you add up to probably 5 inches to 8 inches or even more depending on how big you want it. Also for the crotch depth measurement, since it's going to have a band, the trending one now is the elastic with the drawstring band, which I have a detailed tutorial on how to do on my page as well. You can check my YouTube channel, I have a detailed tutorial there. So we are going to place the tape 1.5 inches up just because of the band, and we'll take the crotch depth measurement. For the crotch depth, it has to be very free so that it's not going to be too tight. You can add up to 2 inches to the actual crotch measurement so that it can be free on that side. And now I'll take the full length measurement. Don't forget to add your folding allowance to the full length measurement. So these are actually the 2 things we need for a baggy trouser. So I'll just place my ruler and rule those lines now. And the next thing I'll be doing is to do the crotch intake. So I'll go back to the crotch area and I will take in 3 inches. I'll mark out the 3 inches and I'll just draw a straight line there. The next thing I'll do is to go in with my curve and just shape that side of the crotch. I'm just going to shape that. You can actually use your free hand to do this. And yes, we are done with our baggy trouser. The next thing I want to do now is to cut it out. I'll cut out and just split the other hand as you can see me do in this video, and that will be all for the front of this baggy trouser. Okay, I'll just quickly show you all how to measure the pockets. I'll measure 3 inches by 7 inches, and I'm just going to place my pattern master on it. I'll connect together. I have a detailed tutorial on how to neatly fix this pocket, so kindly go to my page and watch. The standard measurement for the pocket is 14 by 14 inches. That is the standard measurement to cut the pocket itself out. So for the back of a baggy trouser, I'll just follow the same process I explained earlier when I was explaining the back bodies of a trouser. I'm just going to add 2 inches side allowance to it, which will cover for the seam allowance, and also 2 inches allowance on the crotch area at the back, just like I explained while I was cutting the basic trouser pattern. And now we have come to the end of this tutorial. Thank you guys for watching. Bye. Kindly subscribe to my YouTube channel and give a thumb up to this video. Thank you guys for watching. Bye. See you in my next video.